many sticks we got?
Oh, we got a stick right there in that bag.
I didn't want to be the one to. Oh.
Go ahead.
Eating medium.
Those are mine, but that's all right.
I can go grab a.
Oh, these are from this week? From this weekend?
Yeah.
We'll replenish it. Oh man, Pops is not here, everyone. Pops is not here because he was tested for COVID and they stuck a thing up his ass and found out that he was negative. He was positive for being clear though.
The reality is he's in the broom closet and I put a screwdriver in the door so he can't get out.
He's stuck.
He's stuck in the broom closet right now, man. So if you hear a loud...
He doesn't know what the broom closet looks like, so he's probably scared.
He's really shitless. So if you hear a loud screaming, that's just him stuck in the broom closet.
Frank Tomaszewski, 2 minutes. I got nothing to drink. Something halfway to smoke.
You want some monkey shoulder?
No, there's no purpose to having monkey shoulder. If we were sponsored by Monkey Shoulder.
You have a cutter?
Marty, what's up? Billy?
Jack of all trades.
Oh, evening, Gary. 140. This is gonna be it. This is gonna be pretty. This is gonna be a show.
Very into that stuff.
I'm gonna grab something to drink. You want something?
I'm down. I ride with you, whatever you ride.
What you getting with? Marty, tell us real quick. What are we drinking tonight on the show? Pops, what are we drinking tonight? Minute 20. We'll let them tell us.
Can I grab another stick?
Grab no glasses and grab some monkey shoulder.
I can't grab another stick.
I'll replenish it for you.
No problem. If we gotta argue over a cigar, we got other issues.
So they physically can't see us in a minute and 19 seconds, right?
In a minute 6, they can see us.
Watch how I move.
This
Drinks. You get drinks. I get
Go. A minute. We got a minute and we're live. And then
Get the
Ron's
drinks.
sticking it.
They don't make it, you're stuck with me, guys. And that's a bad thing.
You got it.
I'm married.
I hope those ain't twisted. I mean, I hope. Oh yeah, you're good.
Here, give me that back.
Let's go. 30 seconds. We got drinks and sticks. Diet Dr. Pepper. Mexican Kool-Aid.
I'm not a big Guild fan.
All right, you ready? You ready? You cut? You lit?
Nope. But
Do you know what we're going to talk about?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
I'm good on that part. I don't know nothing else, but that part I got.
17. Tequila.
Very bastard.
Yes, sir.
I think we're having the average of all these suggestions. Diet Dr. Pepper, Mexican Kool-Aid, and tequila. I think that's exactly what we have.
What the F is Mexican Kool-Aid?
3, 2, 1.
Bam.
Bam.
I am not Pops.
You are not Pops.
I'm not Pops. Same, but we had the same parents, though. Don't trip.
What's up? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, brother.
It's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, because you said so.
Man, that's it. What's up, everybody? This is Cigars 101, and we're going to run over a few things while Pops is in kind of quarantine. He's just being lazy. He tested negative, thankfully, and he's stuck at home. So Biz and I are here. We're going to run through some things. We're going to bring in Ron from Tales from the Lounge because last week we ran through what I think was probably the coolest show we have done, period.
I agree. And I was actually the lighting guy, and I just kind of stayed around. Like the guy from Half Baked that just stays on the couch and just we kind of got to talking. So since Pops is not here, I locked him in the broom closet. We're going to run it back.
Mm-hmm. And yes, while we're talking about what we're drinking, I figure we should just give a shout out for our sponsor for the evening. That is Busch Bavarian. If you're going to drink a beer,
Make it Busch Bavarian.
make it Busch Bavarian.
I went to college, and I can read English, but I'm right.
You know what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to figure out. No one's actually told us whether Busch Bavarian is a company still or not, but it feels like it'd be a good company to be sponsored by. So we're just gonna dump them, regardless of whatever we drink, and we're looking for Make It Busch.
We're praying to get a check that if we just keep saying it, a check is going to show up sooner or later.
That's exactly right. So tonight we're talking through what newbies can expect, how they can expect to mess up, and what they can learn from it.
Very true.
If you're on this watching on our newbies channel, what's up? I actually don't think I pushed it live to that, but if you're watching it on our Facebook channel, what's up? Give this a share. Derek is in, Kathleen is in, Pops is in.
Cool. We'll make you proud, sir.
That's what I like to hear.
We hope to make you proud.
I think you got to project too, because my voice is like this real annoying, loud voice.
Do I need to yell? Or
You got like
I
cool
can't
radio
do,
voice.
I can't do the Barry Manilow. Okay, I got to be the regular annoying me and not the cool. Try to be sexy. Venus Flytrap, WKR. Okay, never mind.
That's
A
okay. I
little
see
bit
where you're
louder.
going.
All right, I got you. No.
Cool.
We'll talk no more.
Talk
Yes, sir.
to us about what can newbies expect to mess up.
I think to get philosophical, you're so busy trying to see what everybody else is smoking and being like everybody else, you're not picking your own path. You're not deciding what your journey is going to be.
And for you, what did that look like?
That looked at me coming in here when I first got here, going to the most expensive cigar, and thought that that's what I was. I was smoking Platinos, seriously Platinos, because it was like a lot of money, and I thought that was the cool thing to do. And I was choking the hell out of myself because I didn't know how to smoke it correctly. But I was in the corner assuming I was cool because of the price tag on that cigar.
I mean, you were cool.
Yeah.
You've always been cool.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can see me with the tears and the snot. No, I wasn't cool. But if you would have said it, that's all right.
Oh, shoot.
But it's just, I think that people make a mistake and not discover what your palate is. Don't get me wrong, it's trial and error, but you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, be with the cool kids. You don't have to go and smoke a million Atabase off the rip. Why don't you figure out what your style, what your taste is, what kind of, acclimates to you first?
I agree with that, because as I was thinking about this earlier, what I remember was just smoking Rocky Patel Edge at another lounge, and I either felt like I was gonna smoke the blue label Edge or the teal label Edge or whatever the hell Edge it was. That was my deal. And then every once in a while I would venture out and smoke an MJ12. And that was my whole breadth. And I probably spent a combined amount. Actually, before I think about that, how much money did you spend on subpar cigars before you fell in love with good cigars?
Enough that even though we have separate bank accounts, my wife raised an eyebrow. And you know that's bad. She's like, I ain't none of my business, but what are you doing? I'm like, huh? But I have a humidor full of cigars when, the fellas come by and you don't want them to touch your good stuff. That much.
I probably spent $3,000 on Rocky Patel Edges before I smoked anything good.
Damn.
All right, just over a period of time, I smoked so many subpar $8 cigars, and that's something that is, I think a lot of newbies will understand, is smoking subpar cigars, because you don't want to just smoke a $20 cigar, $30 cigar.
Correct.
You want to smoke what you can afford to smoke, but
there's so many good cigars in that range. I mean, I go in the vault paydays to go to the good stuff. But even in the vault, there's really good stuff that's like $8. The vintage stuff that's
the
in there,
Butera?
yeah. So it's like you really just need to take time out to discover what it is about this thing that is good that you like. Not because somebody else has it. Don't get me wrong, there's suggestions, but what do you like? What makes you you? What makes you an individual?
Yep.
What is the thing that you and Pops always tell me about Steve Harvey? Does he smoke a $30 stick, or what does he smoke?
Smokes a Koshan. That's his favorite cigar.
He loves Brentwood. That's what I'm saying. Like there's so much quality in a certain price range. So I think that's a mistake newbies would make first, is trying to follow the Joneses.
Yes, and also being blinded by the label, which is fine, because you may try a variety of different things. You may try, all 25 of the top 25 cigar aficionados, which would be great because you can try those. But what else should people be smoking? How would somebody go, all right, yeah, I understand, I'm stuck on Cigars International's bundle, buy 5, get 400 free. What should they do to graduate to the next level of value?
How do I not take a dig on other places where that's in this? It's the newbies. I can say whatever. Education. I learned about what my palate was because of Cigar 101 that we used to have live in the lounge.
Yep.
I got started watching this and looking at other things. Then I started getting educated on, what's the difference between a mild, more bold, more flavor. At the end of the day, your cigar lounge of choice should educate you on different cigars.
Couldn't agree more. We've got a couple. We just have this whole conversation going about Busch Light, Miller Light,
Oh, damn.
Busch beer. So I liked that. It's good for our advertisers, which they don't. And Brian Burnett said, I just tuned in. Can't put my finger on it, but Dave Frakes looks a little bit different this week.
Yeah, I've been working out and I shrunk.
Yes, and hair. And
Oh yeah, the tan is dope. I went down to Mexico and looked at a nuclear power plant.
it's a whole new Pops. It's a whole new Pops. And Kathleen is saying she has expensive taste buds. I think that's the truth. She graduated to Atabase real quick.
Yeah.
Now, where
I
you
know her story, so yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
understand.
as we talk about what to expect as a newbie, what mistakes are you gonna make? What is
Don't put this end in your mouth.
Yep.
And I've done that. And I've been smoking for a while, but that's a whole nother story. One night in Vegas. Keep going.
We'll talk about your night in Vegas.
No, we will not.
Yes, we will. And Pops says, Matt Pops Levitt says, I do the two humidor thing. One is my good cigars in them. One is my cheap cigars. If you come over and you know, and you're clarified, just like what you were saying, you're pulling the good one. And this is a brilliant thing to do because this is something I was going to bring up. Is as a cigar smoker, as you're bringing new people into it, you're gonna mess up and you're gonna give somebody a $20 cigar. They're gonna smoke 3 draws from it in front of your face, and then they're gonna smash it out because they're idiots and you don't make good friends. Then you have to change your friends out, and then you learn.
I made a mistake. I let somebody have the keys to my locker, and somebody tipped me a Pictorial XO, and I said, "Look, go in there, but don't touch the dark one with the red pretty label that looks like it just don't belong. Don't touch that." He came back, sat down, and I wasn't paying attention. I was talking, and I looked over, and he in slow motion, just like an action movie, wrapped his lips around it and lit it. And I consoled myself for 3 seconds, and I said, "It is what it is."
Oh,
12 minutes later, he smashed it out and said, "I'll see y'all later."
oh man, you should have Superfly bitch slapped his ass.
It was
I'm
bad.
dating that.
It was bad. It was
Oh
bad.
man, JV's coming in from Michigan,
Yeah.
Canadian border here. Good day.
That Nook at the North was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot. Okay, etiquette. There's a lot. You think there's a lot of etiquette rules that people don't even know exist with cigars that newbies need to learn?
Yes,
Need to
and
learn.
this is the point because last week we were basically going through different stories of what we were talking about, and we thought, hey, we need to bring in Ron, who is Tales from the Lounge. He needs to drink about half a bottle of Monkey Shoulder. Looks like he already did that. And then he needs to come in and tell some Tales from the Lounge, and because we're talking Tales from the Lounge, we can talk a little bit of the etiquette side. So Ronnie, please come in and join us at this empty seat here. Bring your home pour, and let's do this because we do need to talk about etiquette. And not only, hey man, Frank just says he gives all his crap cheap cigars to his neighbor and keeps the good ones. I'm his neighbor. So we need to talk about etiquette, not only etiquette at the cigar lounge, but also etiquette at home. Everyone, this is Ron Hancock. I'm sure you already know him. If you're in, if you know him, give him a thumbs up or middle finger, whatever you want to give him.
I prefer the middle finger.
Excellent. He prefers the middle finger. Ronnie, talk to us. What do newbies need to know about etiquette smoking at someone else's house?
Smoking at somebody else's house. Be considerate. If they offer you a cigar, take it gracefully. Smoke it. If you do not like it, don't say anything. Take a few puffs of it. Let it sit. Let it die gracefully. And tell them thank you.
In other words, if you're there for 3 hours and you ain't touched it, they'll get the hint.
They will get the hint. And it may not be their palate. And you know, we've had this conversation a billion times. Everybody's palate's different. And just because they didn't like that cigar doesn't mean they might not like something else.
We just
So,
did it. We just did it. You
exactly.
handed me one, and I said, "And I ran out of here in 30 seconds. I got what I like." No offense. I
No,
appreciate the offer.
I understand how it is, man.
Did you see how offended he got
That's my
because
boy.
you didn't like the cigar he gave to
He's
you?
like, "You sure?" But I
So on the other side of that, make sure you don't get offended when you give somebody a terrible cigar and they don't like it. That's not a
Exactly.
terrible. That was a good
It was
cigar.
a
You
good
just
cigar, just wasn't
Now,
my steal.
and you were talking about different humidors. I have 3. I have one that I keep all my good stuff in. Then I've got my secondary stuff, and then I've got all the stuff that I've kind of gotten free from events and stuff that, they're okay, but that's really not my preferred. And if I'm looking for something just to smoke, I go there. If I'm looking for something to relax and enjoy, I hit one of the other two. And and then I also have the cooler door.
The cougar door?
Cooler.
Oh, the cooler door.
I was
about to say a bunch of 40-year-old good-looking women.
I wish.
So we have Johnny Goodner's in. Adrian says if he's over at somebody's house and he doesn't like the cigar, we said be respectful, do all that polite stuff. Yeah. He said, fuck that. I break it in half and I pull out an Atabay, to which is also acceptable. As long as you give somebody an Atabay with
exactly. It. That's what I was fixing to say. Adrian, as long as you're saying, I'll screw this, break it in half, pull out an Atabay, and hand the other guy an Atabay and say, try this.
Nobody's tripping because Adrian has 4 guns on him at all times. So nobody's really going to say shit about him breaking that cigar in half.
Well, of course not.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a good point. Stay strapped, my friends. That's going to help you.
Yes, stay strapped, my friends.
Johnny
That's
Goodner was happening. Okay, so we have... I saw this. So Nathan Chilton, Plano PD extraordinaire, awesome dude. 30,000 Oxycontins off the streets because of him. What's
I'll
up,
you
lads?
a cigar, brother.
Literally brought a bunch of newbie friends cigars yesterday at a wedding, and they were a hit. The good thing about it is if you show up and you're introducing newbies, don't just assume that you can just give them shite cigars, because you could blow an opportunity for everybody.
Very much so.
Exactly.
Right? So
Very much so.
So don't be cheap when you're giving out cigars as well.
Don't give out a box of the G words and expect people to still be your friend.
Yep.
Understood.
Yep. I completely understand. Now, embarrassing wise,
Am I not allowed to say the G word on this?
I don't know. I'm trying to tread lightly because this is my first time sitting in pop seats, so I don't know.
All right.
So I'll just leave that alone.
I mean, you can say it if you want to, but there's no use of saying
Y'all
it.
know what it is.
Yep, and you're exactly right. Thaddeus is coming in. If I know you, we have a good relationship, I'm going to tell you your cigar sucks because that's a good friend, and you're going to introduce something that's better. So yes, it's okay to not like a cigar someone gives you, but follow it up with a little value.
Well, and here's the other deal. If they're a good friend, you're not going to give them a cheap cigar anyway. You're going to give them something decent. And I do that
I give
with my
Frank
neighbor.
Tomaszewski cheap cigars all the time. That's how I got him started. I gave him a bunch of free cigars.
Touche.
Yeah, but I don't think you
Touche.
have any cheap cigars or crappy cigars in the humidor.
The problem that I've run into is I
You
have
didn't give
one
an acid.
humidor.
You didn't give an acid, did you?
I gave him way worse than acids. The problem I have is I have one humidor that it's the acrylic, so I have 3 sections. I have all of my only smoke if I have another boy, which isn't going to happen. Then I have the cigars I can smoke, and then I have my cigars people gave me that told me to never smoke them. And then the center just has about 2 or 3 cigars floating out the bottom because I give everything out. So I have a humidor full of cigars that I can't smoke anything.
But to your credit, you've never given me a bad cigar.
I don't think I've ever given you a cigar.
Yes, you have.
Nice. I was just looking for attention.
Yeah.
So another
But
mistake.
I picked you up that one day. You gave me a house stick.
That's right. But you picked me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I should have given you about 6 house sticks.
No, because I billed you for it.
I think another mistake newbies
Which
make,
won't happen again.
they don't ask. Curiosity, they just assume that we don't ask. Like, so
Well-
what is this and why should I like it or whatever? You can't tell anybody what they like, but
No.
there's a lot of questions I had about, so what's the difference between the trilogy cut and I love the V cut and all that? Like, they just assume and they look like, don't be afraid to ask anybody. I think real cigar smokers are going to tell you, this is why, this is what, because they want to share the experience. So don't be afraid to ask anything about what's what, because no question is a silly question.
And don't be afraid to tell. If you've got a complete newbie and they're trying a cigar that you've given them, walk them through it. Hey, listen, what are you liking about this? What problems are you having with it? Teach them how to cut it, how to light it properly. Get them into the entire experience, and that will be even more than what the experience of the cigar is.
Yeah.
They may not like the cigar, but they'll enjoy the whole experience of learning what the proper
Just
cutting and lighting and the whole procedure is.
Because it is an experience.
Exactly.
It is an experience.
But
So
I think
don't-
but in order for you to tell people about the cigar and about what they're smoking, ask those questions in the humidor so you can regurgitate that information,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So in order to tell, ask first. Don't just tell people what you know because you'll come off like a dickhead. But I mean, you.
But
dose
I
it
am
well.
a dickhead, so
Well,
you know.
that's a good point. Yeah, Derek Coleman. I give all my friends Koshans, and only one of them almost lost their life for not finishing it. That's somebody you don't want as a friend, anyways.
That's right. Yeah.
They gotta learn. Be fair. They gotta learn. They gotta learn. You gotta teach them. They gotta
do.
learn.
And that's our
How does
opportunity.
a child learn? They learn
That
through
is our
repetition.
opportunity to
Or
teach.
in my house, a belt. But either way, they gotta learn.
Yeah.
It is
you're
our
right.
opportunity to teach and to educate and to bring everybody into this experience because this is the great equalizer.
So, with that, let me flip it. What are some of the mistakes that seasoned, experienced cigar smokers do when they see a newbie?
They don't do that at all. They give them a cigar. They might cut it for them and light it for them, but after that, they just kind of leave them on their own. And if you're having a cigar with somebody, let's have a conversation about the cigar along with everything else you're talking about.
So one thing he did when I first started really understanding, smoking. So what do you taste? What do you think? What is it like? They're doing it. They haven't blinded me yet, thank God, because I don't want to embarrass myself. But I was doing this podcast.
Like Vegas.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. That's just. I want to stay. Yeah, no, we're not doing it. But just even if I can get to the point to where I can be blinded and guess what a cigar is, I have arrived. That's what I feel. That is my next goal, is to be able to guess what a cigar is without the label.
I haven't been smoking very long, and I can't do that. But you'd be surprised how many times I walk in the humidor and go, what am I smoking? And these guys will hook me up.
Well, I think, so back to your question here. What are some things that more seasoned cigar smokers don't do to help newbies? And I think it goes to what you were saying, Ron. If you're a seasoned cigar smoker, you basically bear the responsibility of introducing and sharing what you have and what you have experienced and striking up that conversation. Just remember the time that made you fall in love with cigars. That is a memorable experience. Really think about that time where you went, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to be a cigar smoker. You probably didn't do it by yourself.
No.
I think there were people there, and it's something you can experience together. So I think that's an important element. It's just ask them questions, understand what they want out of it, introduce them. I think the biggest miss is not wanting to engage with newbies and just letting them sit on an island. You can always tell a newbie in the lounge, most likely, if they're by themselves, they're just sitting alone. They don't understand that they can walk up to anybody. They don't want to bug anyone. They don't feel like it's their house. It's our responsibility as cigar smokers to go up and say, hey, what you smoking?
Exactly.
I hate to say it, that don't happen here though. That just doesn't. I've seen too many people come in. Hey man, come sit down. Like it just doesn't. I mean, it's the shameless plug. We all know where we're at. So I'm just saying. But normally, if anybody new comes in, one of the staff will walk them in, introduce them to everybody, and then it's your first time smoking, yeah. And they'll normally take them and sit them down with a bunch of people. And then the conversation rolls, and the newbie will just kind of look and observe, maybe hold it different, figure out why am I.
Well, it's like Robert.
All that stuff, it just naturally happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that guy Robert you brought in today. Sat down right next to me. He does not smoke cigars regularly. He was here for something else. But guess what? He's probably going to be on my show not before too much longer, and we're going to sit down and educate him.
You got a show?
Couple.
Every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Tales from the Lounge, Facebook. Go ahead and check that out. That's
And you're not producing it. I'm sorry.
I plugged that for you.
It's something to do, but
So I'm curious, for those of you who are watching, my question is to you, what are some of the mistakes that you made smoking cigars that maybe you're embarrassed about, that you learned from? Have you smoked the lit end?
I really did put a lit cigar in this end because I was talking and not paying attention.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I have not done that yet.
Yeah.
I haven't had enough to drink evidently yet.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I did do is probably for the first 6 months, 8 months, maybe a year of smoking a cigar, I would cut way down on the cigar
past the cap, yeah.
and pass the cap, and I couldn't figure out why it was unraveling.
Honestly, that's why
I did
like
not
the V
know.
cut, because the V cut I could cheat that. There's no second
As a
guessing.
cheat, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
and see,
started
I was
doing
using
straight
a
cuts.
regular straight cutter, and it didn't have a back on it either. And so, I'd throw in, this much and go past the cap, and I'd smoke it, and it was like, oh, that's cool, and it would unravel on me, and I just,
Unraveling.
and it was just crazy.
I think every newbie will experience cutting too deep and watching that cigar unravel.
Yep.
And if you are a newbie and you're watching this, thank you for watching this. But you're going to look at the cigar itself where the cap comes up. It's called the shoulder. It makes sense on there. You'll see there are perpendicular lines that sit just right up there. It's called the cap. Just cut on the north side of that, and it's going to keep everything in place.
Exactly.
And after you learn that, it is
And guess where I learned that?
Industrial Cigar Company, Frisco.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
How long were you smoking before you came in?
6 months, 8 months.
So you were cutting for 8 months. You were cutting cigars, and they were all coming unraveled on you.
Exactly.
And you didn't think, hey, something's
In
probably
fact,
wrong
somebody
here.
made. In fact, I used to be in a pool league, and I would go by, and I'm going to give a shameless plug because they're not there anymore. Calypso, and I would go by and pick up a cigar or two, and go to the Wizards Billiards, and I would cut a cigar, and one of the guys made a comment, "Aren't you cutting that kind of deep?" And I said, "I don't know. Whatever."
You cutting it in half.
And I was almost cut it in half.
Now, this is something that I have seen as you're speaking about that. I saw not long ago, and it makes for a very uncomfortable conversation with them because the gentleman, he bought a cigar, and he said I'm gonna smoke one tonight and smoke one now and one tonight. And I went, okay, cool. What other cigar you want? No, I'm good. He wanted me to cut the cigar in half so he could smoke it as 2 cigars. To which, that's fine if you want to do that, but you're just going to notice that thing is going to absolutely become obliterated and turn into dust.
Oh yeah, the first half
But
is
that
going
is
to be
an
completely-
honest newbie mistake.
Exactly.
We're gonna laugh our asses off after this goes off, but that's an honest mistake.
And
Yeah.
Half an hour, like a hot dog.
But
Okay.
mistakes are where we learn
all day.
all
If
day long.
somebody teaches you with poise,
Yep.
if somebody berates you, you might just stop smoking cigars altogether. If
How
somebody-
many people have mashed a cigar out before you knew that was not cool?
I never did that because I just didn't know better, but I didn't.
Because people see people.
I
do
just
that
let
with
them go out
cigarettes.
and be done with it.
I
Yeah,
think I
exactly.
probably have smashed cigars out, if I'm being honest. But I think I probably have. I think we
Even
probably
now,
all have.
if I have to leave and if I need to dump an ashtray, I'll just go run some water on it or something. I'll do that. I just can't mash it. After I've seen like people have a conniption fit about that and whatever, it just made me feel like that was sacrilege. So I just leave it in the ashtray. I run a little water so I can dump, finish the night. But like,
Yep.
little
Okay,
things
another
like that.
shameless plug. I want you to look how even that freaking Crux cigar is burning. That is such a good stick.
It's burning good. It's burning good. I think
That's
it's got
the-
about 5 years of age, post-roll age, so it should
That's
be
the
good.
2018 Limitada.
Those of you who are just joining us, Cigars 101, what you can expect as a newbie. These are basic mess-up stories here, but some ways that you can learn how to shortcut your time from becoming a newbie, to becoming a snob. And snob is a term of endearment within cigars because here's one thing to not do. Don't call yourself an aficionado. Anyone who
come
comes in,
on.
you would be surprised the amount of people who come in with their friends. These are 20-somethings that come in and will tell
They're always
me
20-somethings.
a little bit about cigars. His favorite wrapper is a Robusto. His favorite type of cigar. This type of stuff. He'll tell me wrong information. Say I'm a bit of an aficionado.
His favorite wrapper is a Robusto.
You would be surprised how often it happens. To me, it's
I can't
awesome.
be in
It's a
that
good
room.
opportunity.
I can't be in that room. I would not be allowed back in ICC if somebody said that shit to me.
But you have to laugh it off.
Oh, I would tear his ass. Anyway, go ahead. Because
Yeah.
if he's confident about it and talking like,
Yeah,
he wouldn't have
unfortunately-
bought a cigar. He would have left. He probably hit a couple cars in the parking lot on the way out. But anyway, go ahead.
Sydney is back in Philly. See you in 2 weeks. We will see you in 2 weeks, Sydney. Travel safe. So that, to me, it's how you approach in the humidor, but calling yourself an aficionado, that is important
please don't call yourself an aficionado.
Or an expert or whatever. I mean,
I think modesty is the name of the game there.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, and Biz, you saw this as well. Here in our world, we know quite a bit. But when we go from here to the factory, boy, it's very easy to see how little you know.
Oh.
I mean, talk about what you've seen. What was the point? What was the biggest learning moment? Because I have the biggest learning moment that I saw from you in Nicaragua.
Well, I don't know what you saw, but mine was the fascination of watching a cigar be created, to see it be rolled, and the expertise that it went from literally a bunch of leaves to this in like three seconds. I mean, and they were all, there was no distinct, they were all perfect. And the mastery it takes to make this, the way that they did and how he cut it, and he did it because we were filming, and it was just like, that to me was the most amazing thing, was the creation of a cigar.
Well, and one of the interesting things, they showed a video of their trip where they got to try to roll one themselves.
Try was a good way to put that.
And it was amazing to see, what one looks like rolled properly and what those guys came up with.
Ours looked like a blind Bob Marley tried to roll a joint with a piece of paper off of a bike. I mean, it was all notched up. It was the worst.
But you all
thing.
proud? You still gonna light it anyway? Like
We still have them.
Up?
Yeah, we still have them.
Yeah.
We brought them back with us. And my biggest point of the biggest learning element of that I saw when we went to Nicaragua, and this is very important that everyone just remembers this if there's one takeaway, because this is hands down, indisputable, the most important thing to take away in Nicaragua. Nicaragua, when you go to the fields and you go, let's say it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're gonna go look at the plants and watch the sunrise.
I know
they
where he's
water
going.
in the morning. So
I know where he's going.
what you don't want to do is bring your $450 Air Jordans and wear those to walk around in the muddy ass
Oh
fields.
my God.
Watching you go to your ankles in Jordans.
Modelo, man, this is really, really good at this moment. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's walking ahead. I thought, I did not. Okay, yeah, and I had hiking boots, but the J's were
You
comfortable,
lost your
just-
shit.
Yeah, it was bad. I took a
All
left.
these motherfuckers.
How bad were you cussing me? How bad were you cussing?
Oh, they heard me in Florida.
And he was by himself because he was behind us.
I was behind everybody with a backpack, and I'm trying to film, and I take a left turn, and I'm standing there like, this is dope. Look at this. Why am I sinking? And I sink, and I couldn't see the top of my shoes, and it made that loud ass sucking
Slug,
sound
yeah.
that came out, and it were all black Jordan 13 piano black. Oh my, they were just straight. They looked like old Timberland boots that I've been hiking. Oh man, that was bad.
It sounded like you got attacked by a jaguar. You're like, oh god damn it, Mom. You're just going nuts.
And they laughing their asses off at me with their hiking boots, talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had boots. I took boots with me, but yeah, nobody had any sympathy for my dumb ass because I didn't know.
Nicaragua
But
does not have
was
the
no
best
sympathy and
infrastructure.
Oh, I
love.
learned a lot that day.
Yeah, for sure. Pops Levitt is coming in. The thing I love about smoking cigars at a lounge, it doesn't matter if you're a janitor or a CEO, everyone's there to enjoy the cigar cocktail without a care in the world.
We had that conversation.
Also, the
Yep.
element of respect. It's just built
Exactly.
down, and I think that's something we harp on often.
And respecting somebody else's palate, as long as it's not Gurkha or acid.
And even if it's acid, if that's where they're at, it's an opportunity. I mean,
No, I understand.
and
yeah.
seeing the tobacco that goes into an acid, we make fun of it a little bit because it's infused. But the tobacco and care that goes into it is phenomenal. And the factory is beautiful and they treat their people right. So we can stand by it. It is a beginner and it is a kickstand. That's okay. On the Gurkha side of things, the reason why we harp on it from time to time is just because they really don't give a shit about you and your experience as a smoker. They care about moving cigars and branding and marketing. And it's a great marketing company that also makes cigars. And they're not good cigars, but they are.
And there's a
great
lot of
marketing.
them out there like that.
There are a lot. I had a gentleman who came in this evening and said, I've been smoking these JFRs, but lately they've been making me sick. I can't put my finger on it. I said, does it taste bitter? Does it taste like ammonia? He went, ammonia. That's
Yep.
it. That's what it tastes like.
Yep.
Said, okay, so for those of you who are watching, if you're buying these larger name brands, just know that Their factories were shut down 8 months at least, so they have depleted their cigar stock. The demand is still there. They got to get it out. So they're undercooking tobacco. It's not ready, and they didn't have the infrastructure ready.
They have not fermented it properly.
And you are going to be sick. It's going to be sour. It's not going to be an enjoyable experience. So stick with the companies that are in there. Smell the foot on the cigar. That's another thing that newbies do often.
Yes.
You'll see that. And what will they do when they pick it up?
They will pick it up and smell the cellophane.
I mean, yeah.
It happens often.
It happens all the time, and I did the same thing initially. And you know, I went in a lot of times, and I would just look for one that had a cool label on it, or it looked like it was a nice color, and I would buy it. And I had no clue what I was buying. I had no education whatsoever. And the first cigar I ever had, I only lucked on because of a TV show.
What?
I went in, I initially started smoking pipes. I did that for about 6 months, and I tried a cigar, and the only reason I knew anything about cigars was from How I Met Your Mother. And there was a scene with Barney and the girl, I don't remember her name, but they were in a cigar lounge, and she orders a Monte Cristo No. 2. And she goes into this whole story about this is what my father used to smoke, and that was how we got bonded and blah, blah, blah. So I knew Monte Cristo No. 2. So when I bought my first cigar, I bought a Monte Cristo No. 2 because I had heard the name from How I Met Your Mother.
You know what's funny is coming back to full circle, and we talked about the cigar that time that I fell in love with cigars. We smoked a Monte Cristo No. 2. That is the cigar that we smoked that kicked it off for us at the beginning.
At Busted?
Busted.
Busted.
We smoked a Cuban Monte Cristo No. 2 Pyramid.
Now see, mine was Dominican. It wasn't a Cuban.
This one, but regardless, that's so funny. It comes full circle. That is what we smoked to.
And then after that, you know, I smoked a various amounts of stuff. I smoked a lot of Rocky for a little while because they were moderately price range, and I liked them. They were okay. And so you talking about smoking all the Rockies, and I'm going, yeah, I remember that. And then I showed up here, and it was like, oh wow. And then your dad fucked me up.
Yeah, that's
it's all Dave's fault. I'm still blaming you, you bastards.
So I had a gentleman because this is just a sidetrack, a side element, and this has nothing to do with Cigar Newbies, but I have to tell somebody, might as well tell everybody who's watching. The same gentleman came in that had JFR. He said, I got to tell you something. If I can be honest, I don't hear many good things about your shop. I went, okay, I'd love to. And he said, you know, the thing that people are saying, you know, you're just too proud of your shit. And I went, okay. And I went through it, but I thought, should I elaborate and say, the reason why we're proud is because we smoked so much dog turds. The same dog turds that made you sick, the same stuff you smoked that didn't cut it, is the reason why we're in here. Of the 13,000 cigars we have, and of the 780 selections, we have another maybe 2,000 selections that didn't make it in because of that. What do you think about that? I'm gonna just throw that out there. I know it's completely non-Cigars 101, but we're too proud of it.
Feedback on that one.
I'm curious about your feedback if there's such thing. I understand we are super proud of our selection because of the work that's gone into it, but I am super biased with the lines that are in. I'm curious what your feedback is on whether we're too boutique-y hipster or what. I'm just super curious. I wanted to throw that out.
I love it that I go to a lot of, well, I don't go to a lot of other places, but when I do, because it's only time I go to another cigar lounge is if I'm out of town or if I go back home. And when they don't have anything we smoke, I literally probably spend $200 to take cigars to other places. And I love going through there, man, y'all got this? What is that? Ah! And then just, yeah. I've actually gone home to cigar lounge and I take Atabes and Byrons to the owners of other cigar
Or even
lounges.
bandoleros. I mean, you know, I went to a shop in Tyler, Texas, and handed out cigars, and I handed out bandoleros and Principal, and they were like, "Oh my God," you know, and it was like, "Where do I get these?" I said, "Well, you can't get them here," and unfortunately, they have not been able to get those in because of the owner and blah blah blah. But the thing that impressed me about this shop and the being proud of the product is the stringency of your selection of floor space, because all humidors are limited in floor space. And if you don't pick what you think will sell and is good for your customers, then you wind up with just a bunch of crap in your humidor. Whatever vendor will be willing to sell you their stuff, and that is not the case here. And I walked in here a couple of weeks after you guys had opened, and I actually wasn't even looking for a cigar. I was looking for a humidor. You guys recommended a place to go to get a humidor, and in the process, educated me enough to know that I wanted to come back here and learn more, not only about cigars, but to expand my palate and see what else is out there.
But now, I don't
Somebody
wanna,
who knew what they were talking about.
I don't want to seem conceited and say every shop in the world is horrible compared to ours.
No,
Like that.
no.
There are some beautiful cigar places.
Yep.
Like I said,
and the one in Tyler is beautiful.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. And I like going there when I'm there.
Exactly.
They
I
just
think
don't
it
have the
was just more
selection.
the point of they didn't have what we're used to smoke, because we get a lot of exclusive things here.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the point I want to make. I don't want to diss everybody. Like,
And I don't want you to take this
wrong.
wrong, but this is a pretty bougie place.
Well, I mean, it is. We have more money in our air purifiers than most people build their shops out with. So we wanted to make sure that the details are there. Cheryl Snyder is in. She said, smoked my Atabey on the 20th with a great glass of whiskey. I am so curious. What did you think about it?
Exactly.
I hope you enjoyed it. That is really cool. And I think
And that is where your father ruined me, because I'm always here on Saturday. We do Saturday at the shop, and I used to come in all the time in the beginning and go, "Hey, Dave, what am I smoking today? Dave, what am I smoking?" And he would recommend something for me to smoke that day. And I came in one day and he goes, "I'm going to ruin you." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "I'm going to give you a cigar that is going to be the pinnacle, and what you're going to set the standard on, and everything else is going to be compared to that." And he turned me on to the Atabey. And to this day, the Atabey and Byron are my favorites as far as special occasions. The only other one that matches it is the Patoro XO. And but that education was valuable to me. And if you can find a shop that is knowledgeable enough to educate you and help you with your palate and help you find new things, you're much better off.
You know who did it to me? Darren Chaffee.
Oh, Darren.
I love
Darren.
Darren gave me, the first time he came and we kicked in and had a good time, he gave me a night flight. Nobody else, he gave me a night flight. He did it twice.
He
'Cause
loves
gave me
you.
a night flight.
He
Hold on.
loves you.
No, then he did me dirt ball wrong. After that night flight, which I saved for like some special occasion, then he comes back and then he gives me a Cochon Bonat night flight.
Yes.
And like I just, man, smoke it. I'm like, no, because there's no more. Smoke it. I'm like, no, because there's no more. Like and those are the only 2 night flights I've ever had. And it's like, for those of you that have one,
Yep.
yeah, that's not, that cigar was like,
I mentioned 3 humidors.
wow.
The night flights are part of the feature.
Yeah. That's okay. Here we go. So, Sherry, I won the Cigars and Guns hat by answering the cigar name when I came in, picked up the hat. I bought one.
Oh,
You
yeah,
said, okay,
sure. It's
but
good to
this will
see
ruin
you.
all over other cigars for you. And we were 100% right. Loved it. Need a couple more to age in your humidor. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I remember you coming in for that. And it's so cool that you enjoyed the
I'll tell you
Atabey.
what. Before I leave, I'm going to buy another one. You save it for.
We'll put that aside for you. We'll put that in the back. We have an Atabey. We've got another one for you. KO joining us. What's up? What up, DG? So we're talking about cigars. For those of you who are coming in, we just want to say thank you for your time Tuesday evening. Stuff newbies will do. Stuff you can basically rely on some of the screw-ups that you're going to do as a newbie.
Not lighting it properly.
So talk about maybe not the perfect way how to light it, because I think most people have this, including Tony, who's coming in from BC. Talk about maybe a time you messed up lighting your cigar, because if you were cutting it halfway down the cigar at the beginning, I've got to imagine you were just lighting it
I don't know what, with a blowtorch?
I was lighting it
Hot
with a
air
torch,
balloon?
and I was just, hitting it with the full flame, and just heating it up. And I know that was.
Well, you knew it was wrong because it was already halfway to your knuckles and you ain't had one draw yet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But I didn't know that I needed to toast that end first, kind of get things started, and then hit it with the full flame. Because again, I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
And
it's okay not to know shit, honestly.
It is. And hit Cigar 101s with these guys, or you can hit my Tales from the Lounge. I've got an article on Cigar 101. It's a two-parter on talesfromthelounge.com.
And I also put that on the
And you
Industrial
put that
Cigar
on the
Company.
Industrial Cigar Company website. Because here's the deal. You don't have to be an industrial entrepreneur. You don't have to be an oil baron or anything to smoke cigars. You just have to enjoy the experience. You just have to find something that your palate likes. And then you have to enjoy the cigar culture, which I think is very important to the overall experience.
But I'll play devil's advocate. I don't think you have to enjoy the cigar culture to enjoy cigars. In
No.
my case in point with that, somebody let me know if Sean Ratz is on. If not, somebody tag up Sean Ratz, please. Because Sean Ratz spends most of his time in his garage working on Porsche 928s.
But he does love to come in here and spend time with
But
us.
he does. If you get into the cigar lounge.
And Sean, and Sean is on my show almost every week. In fact, he's on the show every week for Cigar 101s because he wants to learn more about the companies that he's smoking.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal guy. He's just
He's
salt of the earth.
He's definitely wanting that education and the enjoyment of the cigar.
Are there that many mistakes that newbies can make? How many mistakes have you listed? Like how really wrong can you go with this right here?
So how you cut it will make a difference.
Don't keep up with the Joneses and
Don't.
just buy based on price.
Yep. Don't smash the cigar out. Don't
Don't
smoke.
put the lit end in your mouth.
Don't put the lit end in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You'll learn that quick. That one you only do once.
Yeah.
Don't smoke cigars at other lounges that you brought in unless you're going to support. If you're going to go in and dialogue with them.
That's a we didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that. So speak. So to show that we're
Can
being non-biased, I
Take
say
it.
you speak on that.
Take it and run on it.
If you're going into a shop to utilize their lounge, at least go in and smoke and buy a cigar for everyone you're going to smoke. It doesn't matter if it's not from them, as long as you buy one for everyone that you're going to smoke outside their shop, they will be appreciative.
And not only that, if you let them know, just say, hey, I brought cigars, but is it okay if I smoke this?
Exactly.
They're going to appreciate and respect the hell out of the fact that you care about their business.
Exactly.
That, and you don't have to hide it. Like, because you'll get into that thing where you're smoking something from somewhere else and they say, I'm sorry, but I need you to support the shop. Well, I bought a cigar with you. But I know it's the third. It puts in a weird situation where if you just approach them and say, hey, I've got some cigars. Is it cool if I buy cigars with you, but I smoke what you've got? 100% of the time I'm going, absolutely. I appreciate
Exactly.
the support.
So is that
Exactly.
an unspoken rule? Is that more common sense? What
You
how
would think
you
it would
say
be
that?
common sense,
I
but
don't think it is very common sense, honestly. I think it's okay because I've got a cigar. I'm in a cigar lounge. I'm hanging. I think what people think is they want a cigar lounge full of people smoking cigars. Yes, but what you want is people helping keep the lights on. And I think oftentimes, especially in those shops that have bars, people say, well, I'm buying drinks, so I'm bringing my own cigars.
I wouldn't hung out with your brother this weekend at a cigar lounge here in town, and I had my own stuff and everything. So they just charge you a cut fee. Well, if you're not gonna buy what we got, then we got to charge you a cut fee. And I'm like, all right, I get it. It's no big deal. It's still business.
it is business.
It's respect.
Yep.
It's all of the above.
And that's one of the most critical things of the cigar culture is the respect. Not only for each other, but for the shop where you're sitting. And if you'll show that respect all the way around, it comes around as well.
150%. Respect above all else. I think that is I think it's a good rule of thumb for life.
Yep.
You know, and I
Amen.
think so much of cigar culture also echoes into corporate world. If you want to just connect and understand who you're working with, you're going to get a better understanding of the team and more productivity. I think if you can install what you do with a cigar lounge environment into your daily life, I think you'll be in a better spot.
Exactly.
Victor Ruiz, what's up? What's happening? Good evening, everybody. This is Cigars 101. This is what you can expect when you're a newbie. My grandfather, he drinks a lot of Heineken. Calls it his medicine because he puts it in like one of those, you know, when your wife gives birth and they come back and you've got that plastic mug that shows from the hospital. So he drinks it out of that. Puts a lime in it because he says lime and beer makes everything taste fancy. We're sitting in the hot tub. Another common sense rule. If you're smoking and you've had too many Heinekens like Duke and you're smoking, don't look down. He's looking down and then I think I like this cigar, but it doesn't smoke worth a shit. I think is it going out or something? Like, dude, you hold it up. It's dripping water. So when smoking in a hot tub, don't look down. I'll say that. That is one of my favorite, and if I just do.
But he had to relight it all the time, didn't he?
He couldn't relight it. The thing was.
It was soaking wet.
Yeah, it was soaking wet. Oh yeah, that's. No, Cheryl Snyder says, I learned something new today. Didn't know that, but I did that once. And that's okay, but that's good common sense to keep in mind. Just respecting the shop where you're at.
Like I said, there's certain unwritten rules that you just don't know, and you kind of look at things. It just keeps the animosity down, so the staff is not looking at you like you're crazy because you didn't smoke 4 or 5 of your own cigars and have done nothing with their business.
But you know, and part of the deal is, I've been in businesses and I've had friends who have businesses who provide services, and they're habitually having issues where people coming in using their services and not reciprocating through purchasing through the store, and that just drives the companies nuts, and for good reason. I mean, if you're going to come in and take up space and not support the shop, that don't need you.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they can't afford to have you.
Can't afford to have you. Exactly.
And that's a point. Here's another thing too. This is something we haven't spoken about before, but it goes to that respect. It goes to the service hospitality element of things. If you're a regular at a shop, if you want to make sure that you get the best service the next time you go to that shop, tip the person that's serving you. And I don't see it. It's not something that we promote here. It's not something, but. Everyone who's working they're working to survive, they're working to pay their rent, they're working to pay for their kids' college, whatever that is. A tip goes a long ways just to say thanks.
Service industry, period. I totally agree.
And you don't have to do it because we don't have bills at the end and we don't say put it on my tab and then I'll tip you at the end. If you do that, watch what happens to the relationship where you realize you'll see that. Not that your service is going to be that much better, but you definitely get that buy-in for the people.
But you know, if you also, you know, every time somebody brings you a bottle of water or a Coke or, does the cut and light for you, even if you just say, hey, I really appreciate what you did or whatever, that goes a long way too. Be appreciative of the staff because that will get you a lot further along the way as well. Yep. Again, respect.
When I DJ, and I have a tip jar, some of the best cigars I've ever had have been in my tip jar. So I said thank you for everybody who's ever tipped or done whatever. I mean, I feel elated at the end of the night when I see this thing. I'm like, oh, I've never smoked this. Oh, I never had that. Oh, I've been wondering. Like, it is a huge emotional roller coaster when you go home and you just see all the different things that you have.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pivot to one other thing because we're talking about newbies. If you've got a newbie in the shop and you've got something that you're really enjoying, share it with them. If you've got an extra cigar in your locker, grab it, hand it to them, say, hey man, I'm really glad you're here. Try this. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know how many times I've seen that in this shop that, and not only just bottle pours for liquor, but for cigars themselves. You'll come in and you'll see a newbie. I've got a couple extra in my locker. I'll go grab a couple. Hey, give these a shot. And next time you're in, let me know. I've got another one for you.
Yeah, you're a perfect example of just a steward of the cigar culture. And Chris Coulter's, he's chiming in here with just a great word where you get to a kudos, shout out, share, review goes a long ways. From a business owner, if you give someone a 5-star review, that is, every 5-star review is equivalent of you going in that shop 3 times.
Or give them a like and a share on their feeds. I mean, show that appreciation and show that you're not only enjoy what they're doing, but the service they provide.
Yeah. No, this is fantastic. We've got Sean Ratz. What's happening?
It's about time you showed up, Sean.
I hope he doesn't watch. I hope he doesn't watch the beginning of this show later. Derek, Ron did that. Ron did that for Derek Coleman, who's out there just sharing, and like Cars and Cigars magazine says, sharing is caring. If you come to a cigar lounge, if you go anywhere in life with a giving it mentality, that's what creates culture. That's what creates relationships.
Yeah, when I first met Ron, he gave me a lighter, and I gave it back to him 8 months later. I didn't like it. It wasn't on purpose.
Hey, it's still in my locker, and it's sitting in the corner. And if you ever need it, it's there.
I know where it's at. Hey, every time we see each other, what's happening, man? You got that lighter? Yeah.
No, I never said.
No, you never said it. Like I said, I always tell you I have your lighter because it sat in my truck for like 8 months. And one day I was proud to hand it back to you finally.
Oh.
Michael Anderson is in. He says, as a newbie, someone did that to me with the money to burn. Ended up buying a box because I loved it. Can't say I didn't love it just from the conversation that it struck up.
And he was a newbie when he did?
He was a newbie.
That says a lot to go from a stick to a box.
Someone gave him a stick and he bought a box because of it.
That says a lot.
That's incredible. So whoever did that, a big kudos. And Michael Anderson, we hope you enjoy that money to burn. Those are damn good cigars.
And they're
gone.
They're gone.
No,
they're always gone.
You only got a box.
You only got one box. But you
We
only got one box.
Yeah, they move fast.
That man.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, he's ST DuPont. Yeah, Chris Coulter. That lighter better not have been a Bugatti or a ST DuPont.
No. But I'll tell you what it was. One of the very first industrial cigar.
That's
why I meant
members on it.
Yep.
Yes.
From the member event from 2018. Yeah.
2018.
Holy shit.
Yeah, if it was a Bugatti or SD DuPont, he would have said something. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have. I don't know that I got it back. I know where you are, man.
You know where I'm at. Yeah, it ain't hard to find me. I'm the lighting guy that doesn't go away.
Yeah, I love it. Good traction this evening. We appreciate everyone who's taking your time to join us. This is, I love just sitting in here and BS.
And thank you for inviting me tonight. I don't get a chance to watch the show a lot, but every time I do, I really enjoy it. You guys do not only a great service here, but your shows are cool, and that's why I like rebroadcasting Saturday at the shop. You know,
I do have to apologize. There's been no violence tonight. That's my brother, but we don't smack and punch each other like him and Pops do.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that next week. I know Pops probably at home working out like a Rocky montage right now.
No, he isn't. He's sitting on his ass watching the show probably.
Wonder why he ain't smacking Brandon across the head.
I've got, you know what? We need to make a reel of all the times these guys were smacked and punched each other.
Absolutely.
That'd be like 35, 40 minutes of just smack, punch, smack, punch, smack, punch, smack, punch. Like,
you made that one.
Father's Day last year. That was, y'all.
We'll post that up so you can watch that.
Yeah.
It's and then you turned it into that montage. Yeah, it's
all these.
It's
beat
all
on each other in love.
That's absolute love. That's it. I'm curious what everyone who's watching. What are some of the newbie mistakes you guys made? What's something that you messed up? Maybe, if I can speak for Sean Ratz, aside from his overall newbie cigar collection, he gave me these cigars he used to smoke. He probably does still, but they're called the Punishers. They're jalapeno infused cigars.
Oh my God. Sean, you got to share one of those with me.
He's given me a couple. And it is like the devil's dick. It is the worst thing ever. It is.
It makes you wonder why somebody made this.
Yeah.
It's like the silly shit my wife likes is like Kool-Aid pickles. You ever heard of that?
No.
They take Kool-Aid,
Yes.
powder, and they put pickles in it. Like, I got a jar of them shits in
Like-
my house right
like-
now. Like, I will not go nowhere near that. That's like, and my kids, oh, can we get a Kool-Aid pickle? A what?
Yeah.
Like people frying Snickers. Like, that's what that cigar sounds
That's-
like. Shit that don't go together.
Yeah, it doesn't go together.
Cigars and jalapenos. If it ain't you eating nachos and then smoking, otherwise they shouldn't even be in the same thing.
It's
No.
it's really
But you
bad
know-
tobacco with a really bad concept.
Oh my God.
That's
But don't get me wrong. I love a good pairing.
yeah.
That ain't it.
But that ain't it.
That ain't it.
But Sean he's doubling down on this. He says they rock. They just rock.
Okay,
Sean,
Sean.
Sean,
Don't smoke one when you're changing out a gas tank on a 928. Just saying, it's like the same thing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is cool. I gotta thank our sponsor for the evening, Busch Bavarian, who we just,
and Monkey Shoulder.
and we did find out that Busch Bavarian went out of business in 1979, so they're not going to sponsor this show anymore.
And they
'cause they're
opened
not-
up in 1981. Just saying.
Yeah, this is good show. Good show. Would be some hilarious captions with the Smackfest video. Watch this because I'm gonna find it tomorrow. Chris, I'm gonna find this. I'm gonna post it. It's now it's some sort of montage for some show, but I'm gonna post that video of us smacking each other.
When I sent you a funny gift of one of them
I thought
that I
I
created.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
So what it was is that, I don't know if you guys have heard this, there is an actual sport of slapping the shit out of each other.
Oh,
And
I've
people
seen
stand with
that.
their hand behind their back and you go smack one person and smack another. Then I started, I looked at all the episodes of Saturday at the Shop. They do the same thing. These two they just smack each other. Like, I'm like, perfect. And so, yeah, we had smack competition and then Pops and Brandon.
And
Same thing.
I think you dubbed over like some Japanese
Yes,
kung fu on top of it or something.
Yeah.
This is actually a really good piece of good content here. Pops Levitt, big mistake he made, thinking he could smoke a double Ligero and drink on an empty stomach.
Oh God.
Strong cigars on an empty stomach will be your
That should go to the top, one of the top 3.
that just runs. That ride to the top is real fun. That first,
And then the
couple
drop.
minutes,
Yeah.
and then there's nothing fun after that.
Nope. It's
Nope.
like being on that roller coaster and you get to that edge. And then, I hate roller coasters, so it's.
Oh, I'm getting you on a roller coaster.
Hell no. The woman I'm married to can't get me on a roller coaster.
Oh.
My job is to hold baby bags and purses while I watch the rest of y'all risk y'all life.
Okay, so we're gonna start a GoFundMe page of just straight cash money,
Yeah, okay.
and then we'll put
Check the
busy.
refund policy.
We're putting busy on a. That is my goal for 2021.
Hell no.
Then to get busy on a roller coaster.
They've
The
already
Texas
ruined,
Giant.
They've already ruined
Exactly.
one pair of Jordans. You don't want to ruin my draws at the same time. I ain't doing it.
But we'll take a video. We'll do the whole deal.
Why does a human being want to get on 4 roller skates, go 7,000 feet in the air, and then plummet to your death? That makes no. That's
Near
like
death.
That's like jalapeno infused cigars. Shit don't make no sense.
I can't wait till Sean brings one in for you.
Ah man.
I tell you what, that needs to be a show. We need to all sit around and smoke jalapeno
It'd be
infused.
the
Yeah,
same-
let us know. We'll get in
That'd
on
be
that.
like the same results when people eat the world's hottest chip. That's going to be the
Oh,
same
that's
thing.
crazy.
It's the cigars when you retrohale them or the.
Oh God, I would not retrohale
Not
that.
a nose hair
No,
left.
no, no.
Oh, it just.
I
It's
smoked
all
a Jacob's
fire.
Ladder before I smoked that.
Man, there was that. And to Pop's point, or to Pop's Levitt's point, we smoked a Jacob's Ladder one night before Christmas. My dad and I on this show, and we were sweating so hard.
Yeah.
And it was just, you get the shakes, you get that nicotine buzz. Just isn't that fun?
Man, I took one puff of that shit and
Well, that's-
handed it to the be all of be all, Eric Hall. Here you go. Want a cigar, Eric? Yeah, I'll take it.
That's
Man, he
like
smoked that thing like it was a candy cigarette.
Do you remember the very first Cigar 101 that Edgar Hoyle did with the Holochos? They were supposed to be Holochos, but they were not.
They were full cigars.
They were almost full cigars, and he brought 4. And so at one point in time, I had 4 cigars in my mouth, smoking them all at the same time.
Was that when we
and
did the
everybody,
blending thing?
Yeah.
and
Oh, high as a
everybody,
kite.
and everybody
High
was
as a
talking about
kite.
the walls were moving and shit.
Yes. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I was in the corner talking about mommy. Somebody help me. Like, oh my God. He said, take all 4. Yeah, that was like a Cheech and Chong movie. Like
That was
a real smoke.
That was fun. That was so much fun, though.
Everybody walking in the shop. Why is everybody here giggling and wobbling? Like, we all just pointed at Edgar, and he was cool.
Oh, Edgar was solid as a rock.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Edgar. Oh.
So be careful on an empty stomach because that will mess you up. And all of a sudden the bricks are moving. Yeah, it's just no fun.
Yeah, Ty was talking about the walls were moving and everything. I'm like, you such a lightweight, man.
Yeah, okay. You put them 4 in and you was out of there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's exactly it. What else? What else have you messed up?
Well, initially, and everybody, almost everybody who's watching the show has done this. When you first had your first cigar and you really didn't know what to do with it, you tried to inhale it like a cigarette.
Oh, yes.
And, and I would have one occasionally for a wedding or something like that. And I actually had a friend of mine who was a cigar smoker at a business that I worked with. And he brought in some evidently nice cigars and gave me one. And I could only do about a third of it, and I got sick. And that was because I did not realize you do not inhale a cigar. You pull the smoke into your mouth, enjoy the flavor and the sensations, and then you blow it out. You do not pull it into your lungs.
You want to have fun?
And that is a big no-no, and that was probably the biggest thing I learned when I started smoking cigars and pipes. Because I actually started smoking a pipe for about 6 months. Was you don't try to inhale the smoke, you just pull it in your mouth for the flavor.
You want to have fun? Try to convert a weed smoker into a cigar smoker.
Oh my God!
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
They take a long time.
Nope. And and I love my dad. Don't get me wrong, but he smoked cigarettes since he was 15 years old, and he can't do cigars at all because he wants to constantly inhale that smoke, and you just can't do that with cigars.
I mean, you can.
You can, but there are a few people who can do it, but it's something you'll really have to adapt to, and it'll take you a while.
I ain't built for that. No.
I'm not either.
No. Enjoy it all up in here, not in here.
Derek Coleman, great point. Something that we've probably all done, and I'm actually going to introduce this Does It Matter series. Because to this point, as I get asked questions a lot, how long will they last outside of a humidor? One thing to learn from is don't leave cigars in your car during the summer.
Oh God, no.
That is, if you want to see what it's like, you'll just overcook it. You'll rock the cigars. Now you can bring those back and reacclimate them, but if you pull it out of we call it trunk stock.
Yep.
When the reps come in and they just have stuff sitting in their trunk and they give it to you and smoke it. Boy, that's stuff that Sean Ratzel enjoys.
It'll almost set your face on fire.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you light it up and it just explodes on you.
And Chris Coulter actually keeps a small cooler that he puts in the travel humidor during the hot days in the Texas summers.
Very smart.
Yeah, that's good.
My son, who's in the military, he's over in Iraq, and I just sent him a box of cigars, and I told him, and I sent a bunch of Bovita packs with him because people think because it's in the box, it's good to go. They don't understand about humidors. So trust me, that small plastic baggie that we give you when you leave here with it, that's not its permanent home. Now, if you have a Bovita pack in it, how long is it good for inside that plastic bag with the
weeks to months?
Exactly. But if it's by itself without a humidor pack in it,
days. Yeah.
That's a good.
And that will destroy your enjoyment of that cigar.
And you don't know it because then you'll think it's a bad cigar.
Exactly.
Because you peeled it out of a plastic bag with no kind of humidification. So that goes back to the education.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. So what you should do is come in, smoke cigars with us, ask us a ton of questions, ask everyone a ton of questions, learn, watch this show next Tuesday. If you have suggestions on what you want to know, we'll go back to it and see. But aside from that, I think this is good content.
I can go take that screwdriver off the closet door and let Pops come back out?
Yeah, you can let Pops come back out.
Damn it.
Yep, that's exactly it. So just want to say thank you for everyone for taking your time out on a Tuesday evening to join us.
Thank you, Ron, for
Thank you.
doing the assignment of killing half that bottle of Monkey Shoulder and joining us. You kept it together well. Busy, as always. My
I
brother.
just set up the lights and he said, sit down. I sat down and here we are.
And here we are. So thank you. We appreciate you.
And shameless plug, watch me tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, live stream on Facebook, Tailspin Lounge, Cigar Company Spotlight, and we're going to feature Rocky Patel.
Oh, cool. Rocky.
So we will feature Rocky Patel next week. We do that every week. We pick a cigar company. Not every week, but most weeks we pick a cigar company, feature them. Occasionally we'll deviate because we get bored, you know. But